organizers, the Ag Metrics team, for the opportunity to participate and interact with the young minds in the future of country, future of India agriculture. So it's always a pleasure talking to the new generation. As you said, I've been in industry. This is my 32nd year actually now in ag industry. I'm a graduate, postgraduate in agriculture, then MBA in marketing, uh, and I have worked on several crops, starting from apples in Himachal, and then rice, wheat in North India, then cotton in Maharashtra, and I worked on soybeans and corn in US, then came back in 2010 uh, to start Savannah Seeds. So the topic I am allocated today is, input innovations in ag input industry. It's a very big topic. So, for the, in fact, like just to keep that you guys can retain few things, I will focus mainly on seed side of the agri input, and will uh, speak about three crops. So corn, cotton, and rice. In fact, and then these are the crops where I spent most of my career. And I'll say like my expertise is more around these three crops. So I'll focus on innovations in seed side of agri input. Agri input is a wide subject. Agri input include seeds, agri input include fertilizer, agri input also include pesticides, agri input also include other enablers, like in fact like machinery is also part of agri input. uh, First, I would like to check with you guys whether I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, bear with me if you lose me for a second, because now I'm in an elevator. So I'll start with sharing with you guys innovation, and today's talk. Whatever I'm talking is in fact like all real life business stories, and which had changed agriculture, and which has made a large impact on farmer lives as well as the Indian agriculture, and some future technologies. I'll talk about that. So first, I'll cover corn. So corn, which in India we also call corn maize, makkah. It's an important crop. So uh, if we go back two decades back, in the late 90s, early 2000, corn was not a very big crop in India, and our productivity is also like, if I talk about acres, the productivity levels were below 2 tons. In fact, like average was maybe around 1.3, 1.4 tons per acre. So these were the days, in fact, like when the poultry feed industry, starch industry, they started taking off. So when I say poultry feed, this is about, what the chickens, they eat a lot of corn, because corn is a good source of protein. And the starch industry also uses a lot of corn. So as the Indian economy started growing, we needed more corn for industrial use. Before that, whatever corn we were producing was largely used for food purpose. And we used to grow desi corn, the local varieties where the productivity was low. It was orange flint, and the major use used to be for flour making. But once the industrial demand increased, and you will be surprised to know that the growth of the poultry industry in India has been amazing. In fact, like the poultry feed demand in last 20 years, in fact, like if you look at the compounded annual growth rate, has been in the tune of 20-25%. So more and more people are, in fact, like it's a trend, have been switching to animal protein. And in a country like India, where we have large population, so we have seen a trend that like the consumption of poultry has increased. The demand for corn increased significantly, and we were in a situation as a country that we were not able to produce enough corn. So then came this innovation in seed industry, through seed industry, introduction of single cross hybrids. So first, in fact, like the hybrids were introduced, and within corn hybrids, there are like 3 families. The basic one were like 2-line hybrid, then 3-line hybrid, and then came the, in fact, like they were called double cross, triple cross, and then single cross hybrids. So the single cross hybrids, they changed the productivity level in India significantly. The productivity almost doubled, and now many farmers in Rabi corn in Bihar and in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, in Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, with the introduction of single cross corn, the corn area also expanded. And now we produce enough to feed our own market, like the poultry industry, starch industry, as well as other consumption. India is also exporting some volumes to other Southeast Asian countries. And because of these high productivity levels, farmers in state like Bihar, they moved from growing rice and wheat to corn. And we worked on several new areas to convert from water-consuming crops to more water-efficient crop like corn. So it's a good example of what a seed innovation can do on changing cropping patterns as well as farmer income. Still, there are like more can be done. In fact, like there have been changes within the single cross corn. New genetics are coming up. We can increase the value of seed with seed treatment, and we can increase the value of the seed by introgressing traits like disease tolerance, insect tolerance, herbicide tolerance. So there are breeding traits, there are GM traits, and in the Western countries, US and Canada, these countries in West as well as Brazil, they are 3 major producers of corn. They have approved 20 years back GM corn also. The US is already growing Roundup Ready and BT corn. In Asia, Philippines has also approved BT corn as well as Roundup Ready corn. So what happens like with BT corn, you provide inbuilt protection to plant against, there is a cob borer which attacks, as well as the herbicide tolerance Roundup Ready. You can spray Roundup on top of the crop, and you can control all the weeds. So those innovations are yet to come in corn in India because India restricted the introduction of GM traits, genetically modified traits, only in cotton. And we have seen introduction of BT cotton as well as, second generation BT cotton, Bolgard too. So from corn, I'll switch gear. I'll talk about the second crop and an example of innovation in seed in cotton. In the late 90s, early 2000, we had a major problem in cotton crop. Cotton, is a major industrial crop. It is used in, whatever me and you, we are wearing clothing and several other uses. But with a growing population, as well as India is a good export market also, the demand for cotton is always increasing. Uh, we face as a country a major problem in cotton production, which, because of a insect called bollworm, Heliothis. And farmer used to spray 7 or 8 times insecticides, but still they were not able to control this bollworm. It was a menace. In fact, like many of you must be infant, I'm talking about that time. These were late 90s, 97, 98. Lot of pesticide were used in cotton production. If any one of you are from northern part of the country, if you travel in the area which is they call Malwa, Bhatinda, you go in Rajasthan, Ganganagar, those areas. If you are in a train in those days, if you were in a bus and it's cotton growing season, you could smell, all the insecticide which were used in cotton fields. In fact, a lot of pesticide related injuries used to happen. Groundwater was also contaminated, but there was no control of bollworm. Very difficult situation for cotton farmers. So a company called Monsanto, they formed a joint venture with the company Myco in India called MMB. And Monsanto brought in a trait innovation, a BT gene in cotton plant. And they introgressed this in hybrid cotton. And what this gene did is like it provided cotton plant inbuilt protection against Heliothis. So it produced a protein in plant which was toxic to the insect. The larvae, when the larvae used to eat the ball, they were unable to digest it. In fact, like this protein will attack on their digestive system. They will paralyze and die in 72 hours. So it's like that you have given a vaccine to the cotton crop. See, the crop itself has inbuilt protection. So this technology was introduced in 2002. Initial years were slow adoption, but when the technology was available in a bigger range of cotton hybrids, I worked in Maharashtra from 2002 till 2006 on, in fact, like promoting the technology. We have worked in Vidarbha and Marathwada, all the major cotton growing areas, Jalgaon, in AP, South, Gujarat, everywhere. The technology picked up very fast. In fact, within 10 years, the area under BT cotton was nearly 70-80%. And now, if we see the cotton which is grown in India, almost I'll say 98% is BT cotton. So later in 98, 99, I think the second version of the trait, Polgard 2, was introduced. So what it has done, in fact, media, you hear or read all kind of the stories, but I can tell you the impact of this has been huge. There are independent studies which suggest like Indian farmers have gained, the cotton farmers have gained 25 to 30,000 crore rupees more. India, who used to be an importer of high quality cotton, now is a major exporter of cotton in the world. In fact, like this introduction of this technology in India has resulted in fact, like impacting the US cotton crop and the US cotton farmers. Because US used to export a lot of cotton to India as well as China. Now China import a lot of cotton from India. So this is second example of like the innovation in agri input on seed side, the impact of that. In fact, like there's now a third generation trait is also waiting for approval in cotton, which is herbicide tolerant trait. This company Monsanto, which is now known as Bayer, developed also a trait where the crop has herbicide tolerance, and you spray non-selective herbicide Roundup on top of the crop. It controls all the weeds, but there's no impact to the crop. So this trait is waiting an approval in India because with the industrialization, with the way India is growing in infrastructure, the availability of farm labor is becoming more and more challenging and expensive. So controlling weed becomes a major challenge for farmers. And if you do not control weed timely, weed can rob away up to 40-50% of the crop yield. So the technologies like Roundup Ready will help if the approval comes in cotton and corn. The third crop I'll talk and share the experience with you is rice. Rice is largest crop in India. In fact, like India is the largest rice acre in the world. We cultivate rice in nearly 110 million acres of area, which translates to 11 crore acres. We are the second largest in production. We are the largest in acreage, but we are second largest in production. The largest is still China, but China has 70% area as compared to India. They grow rice now in 70 million acres versus we grow rice in about 110 million acres. India's average productivity of rice is below 4 tons per hectare. And I'm saying 4 tons per hectare, like 40 quintals. That's the average for all country. We have some part of the country where the productivity is higher, but some part of the country where the productivity is low, which makes the average is we are about near to 4 tons per hectare. Whereas China, their productivity is about 7 tons per hectare now. US has a very small area of rice. Their productivity is close to 8.5, 9 tons. A small country like Vietnam, their productivity is also around 5.5 to 6 tons per hectare. So rice is in fact, like a crop which is waiting for a major innovation from seed-enabled technologies. One innovation in rice was brought, in fact, like it's now more than 20 years, has been hybrid rice. But the earlier part of this century, like I'll say 2000 to 2010, was slowest adoption of hybrid rice. Hybrid rice also brings 20-25% higher yield, and the plant is more, in fact, tolerant to stresses, like especially moisture stress. The root system is, in fact, like more developed as compared to varieties. But hybrid rice adoption has been, in fact, relatively slow if we compare as compared to cotton and corn. In corn, now hybrid adoption is more than 80%, cotton nearly 100%, but rice, still the adoption of hybrid rice is about 7 to 8%. There are several reasons why hybrid rice adoption is still low and slow. One is like rice is a food crop, whereas corn and cotton are industrial crops. So farmers have regional preferences for what kind of rice they want to eat. There's part of northern India where we grow basmati, the aromatic basmati. In South India, we have this medium grain, fine grain BPT. We go to the eastern part of the country, they grow a little bolder rice. There's some people, those who prefer when you cook the rice, it is fluffy. They're like part of the country where eastern part, they like a little sticky. So rice is very diverse in terms of as a crop. There are like several grain type segment. There are several maturity segment, crop maturity segment, and regional preferences of how rice is used or cooked. That has been one reason why, in fact, hybridization has been slow in rice. It is a big challenge for the plant breeders. Plant breeders have been able to develop hybrid rice, which is in fact like good in a grain type, which is called long cylinder. The adoption of hybrid rice have been, in fact, like relatively higher in long cylinder grain types, but it is low in other grain types. But rice as a crop is also, in fact, like a crop which is grown in such a large area, is also a guzzler of other natural resources. Like to produce 1 kilo rice, it may consume anything between 3,000 liter to 5,000 liter of water. Producing 1 kilo of rice can take so much water. Secondly, rice also, when farmer prepare the their farm for growing rice, they do puddling operations, and there are a lot of wear and tear of machinery. There are like a lot of use of energy, especially diesel. And third thing is like in rice, nearly 95% of the rice in India is transplanted, where farmer first grow nursery in smaller plots and then they transplant it. So water, a lot of water consumption, energy, machinery, wear and tear, and labor. Uh, and the fourth thing is like when you puddle the field for transplanting, you actually create a layer in the soil which allows, standing water, but it doesn't allow the water to percolate down. So recharging the groundwater. So this traditional, the system of growing rice, which is called transplanted rice, is not environmentally sustainable because it is using a lot of resources which are depleting. There's another challenge with the transplanted rice. When you puddle, you release a lot of carbon dioxide from the soil, you open up. And when your rice field is flooded with water and fertilizer is applied, rice field continue to emit greenhouse gases like methane, nitrous oxide. Uh, agriculture also contribute in greenhouse gas emission, which are responsible for, you must be reading a lot about global warming. And for global warming, the major blame goes to, increasing level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But the gases like methane, nitrous oxide also contribute in that. So the contribution of agriculture is about 15% in greenhouse gases emission globally. And out of 15% from agriculture, rice is a major contributor in the greenhouse gases emission. So I talked about like all these challenges in rice, and I also touched upon on hybrid rice. You must be thinking, okay, how can we grow rice sustainably? Can we grow rice when we can cut down the water use from 4,000 liter to 2,500 liter per kilo? Can we grow rice where, we have to use less diesel? Can we grow rice where, it's sustainable? We can cut down on the greenhouse gases? Yes, the answer is yes. With a new innovation, we are working. In fact, like our company is working on an innovation called full page system. In fact, like we call it full page cropping solution. So this system changes the rice cultivation practice from transplanted to direct seeding. And this technology, full page technology, has been widely used in Western countries like US and Brazil for several years. We are now introducing this technology in India. And this technology is so powerful, it can transform the way we produce rice today. Because using this technology, farmer can adopt direct seeded rice. You must be wondering, like, why farmer is not using direct seeded rice now? The direct seeded rice system is you directly sow the rice seed in the farm, like you plant wheat or corn, those crops. And in direct seeded system, you don't have to raise nursery and transplant. So that is why it is called direct seeded rice. Actually, the state of Punjab and Haryana, they have been providing incentives to farmer to adopt direct seeded system. And during the first year of lockdown, the COVID lockdown in 2020, a lot of farmers moved from transplanted to direct seeding in northern India because the labor, a lot of the migrant labor comes from eastern states for transplanting. They couldn't come on time. So nearly 12 lakh acre area moved to direct seeded rice. But farmers, those who adopted direct seeded rice, faced a major challenge of controlling weeds. Because when you direct seed rice, the weed also germinate with the main crop. And when you irrigate, more weed come up. farmers are using a pre-emergent herbicide, they're using a post-emergent herbicide, but they are not getting satisfactory control of weeds. And eventually, the farmer, those who adopted direct seeded rice, many of them lost up to 10-15% yield, as well as their cost of cultivation also went up. So they moved back from transplanting to direct seeding. We did a survey to learn why farmer moved back from transplanted to direct from direct seeded to transplanted, and the major answer was inability to control weeds. Weed control became a major challenge. So this full-phase cropping solution, what I talked, provide a very effective solution for weed control. So the full-phase system is an integration of a smart genetics. When you go for direct seeding, you need a plant type which is stronger root system, an erect plant type, so you can accommodate more plants per square meter, and lodging tolerance. So we call it smart genetics. Then we have developed a proprietary seed treatment solution called Squad, because when you plant direct seed, when the seedling germinate, initially there's stress of, plant doesn't get some micronutrients. There can be a fungal attack. So we treat the seed we load the micronutrients. We treat the seed with the latest fungicide, insecticides. And the seed has herbicide tolerance for a family of herbicide called imidazoles. IMI. We have developed this herbicide tolerance using conventional breeding. These are product of mutagenesis. So this full-phase cropping solution system, these seeds are not genetically modified. They're developed through conventional breeding. Because some of the countries, and India also, they are reluctant to approve genetically modified traits in food crops. So you don't have that challenge. Also, it is developed using conventional breeding. So when you direct seed, full-phase seed, it germinates, farmer, irrigate, weeds germinate. Farmer can spray this herbicide 400 milliliter per acre. First spray during 15 to 20 days when the crop is at that stage, and second spray when the crop is 35 to 40 days old. You get a broad spectrum weed control. Rice has 3 types of weeds, grasses, broadleaf, and sedges. This one herbicide control all 3 different weed flora. And, there's no competition from the weeds, so there is no yield penalty. In fact, yield is in many cases are better. We have been testing it for last 3-4 years. And you save 30% water, nearly 30% water, 20-25% diesel, and there's 30% reduction in the greenhouse gases emission. When I say greenhouse gases emission, why this point is important? Of course, it is important for environment, but it is also important. There are, in fact, now business platform developing. That's also an innovation, which is called carbon trading, carbon credit trading. So the farmer, those who are going to adopt direct seeded rice, they will be recruited for a program under carbon credit. Their farm will be geofenced and verified through satellite or other tools, like whether there is the crop they are growing is through direct seeded system. And these farmer will qualify, once the verification is done, they will qualify for carbon credits. So imagine a situation that farmer, 1 acre, from 1 acre, they get 1 carbon credit, and the value of the credit, later on, they can get money in their bank, $30-40 per acre. So farmer can generate additional income by carbon credit. Farmer will save 3,000 rupees average per acre on transplanting. Farmer will save on irrigation cost. Farmer will save on the diesel cost. And farmers will have peace of mind. They don't have to chase labor. So this is going to be, in fact, the new innovation in Indian agriculture enabled by seed technologies. So with this technology, India can transform rice farming. Today, farmers spend nearly 21,000 crore on transplanting alone. Then they spend nearly 5,000 crore on diesel. We use a lot of water, which can be used for other purposes. So we can increase farmer income, and then we can grow rice in a more sustainable manner. So this is, in fact, like my third topic I wanted to share with you. I'd be more than happy to take few questions if you have, or you can send me the questions on email also. Once again, thank you for the opportunity.
Right. Thank you so much, Ajay sir, for this insightful session. And I hope your teachings and keynote will definitely help our participants in their future endeavors. Right, sir. So we have a question or two that we would like you, if you can help us answer. Yes. So the first question is from Shagun. The question is, does Savannah organization also deals in any fruit seeds, or are planning to do in near future?
No, we are actually rice and rice focused company. Rice is one of the largest crop in the world, and we have so many problems to be solved on rice. So we are rice focused. We have a small wheat program. We are working on wheat too, but no plans to get into fruits and vegetables.
Right, sir. And so, how does Savannah Seeds have an edge over other seed companies?
Good question. So they're like when you talk about hybrid. So in hybrid, there are two systems. The conventional system is CMS, cytoplasmic male sterility, and the latest is TGMS. So Savannah is the first company to introduce the TGMS technology. It's called two-line, where you can develop the hybrid faster, your hybrid vigor, and your hybrid performance is better. So I'll say like we have better technology as compared to others. Second is like we are the only company, perhaps we are dealing with we are not only selling hybrids, but we are also into varietal rice. So what one of the management guru used to say, bottom of the pyramid, we have very large crops, so many farmers are still using varieties. So we provide farmers varieties also. Then we have a segment called research variety, little higher value. Then top of the pyramid is hybrids, and then now we are bringing these new technologies like full page cropping solutions. So, and being a rice focused company, we know rice better than any other company. And we also have the advantage. We have breeding programs around the world in US, in Brazil, and we have collaborations in China, and we have a large program in India. So we can exchange genetic material around the world, and also exchange knowledge and new technologies.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Gratefully answered, sir. So next question is from Shanti Sivkumar. The question is, he would like to know about formulation for A and B nutrient mixture. If you can help on that.
Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah.
Able to see the questions. It's there on the.
It's on the chat box, so maybe you can access.
Formulation of A plus B nutrient mixture.
I think so. That would be most probably for the hydroponics. No issues.
Yeah.
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 So we have another question. The question is from Rajkumar Shrivas. The question is, do you recommend to grow direct seeded paddy with mulching sheet using drip irrigation system, as it will help to optimize use of water as well as controlling weeds?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So we have been running trials with drip without mulch. Actually, with drip, you can reduce the water consumption by 50%, and you can reduce the consumption of fertilizer also by 60-70%, because you will be doing fertigation. So drip has, in fact, like more advantage. But the drip, we have to look at the farmers, the return on investment, cost of cultivation. So the initial investment of drip is higher, if a farmer can use it over the years, there's one-time investment, and then there are those collaterals used. So, but yeah, definitely drip is more efficient way of growing any crop, including rice. In areas where there's a lot of rainfall, heavy rainfall during monsoon season, there the farmer will struggle to find any value. But the areas where the monsoon is uncertain and they're like scanty rains, and especially in the Rabi season, rice is also grown in Rabi season in many parts of the country. Drip can be a good solution if we can establish the value proposition. So one-time investment farmer can use for multiple crops, but like if they see like it's only for one, the initial investment would be anything between 70 to 80,000 rupees per acre. So which is significant, and there's subsidy by Government of India for fruit and vegetables, horticulture crop, but there is no subsidy for cereal crops. So if any subsidies come, and we can educate farmer that the return, if they can use for multiple crop cycle, still they are good returns.
All right. So we have a participant, Hari, who wants to ask you a question. Hari, you can please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Hari.
We got some information that some new drought-resistant variety was going to be released. Was that this variety which you mentioned was the same or different?
They're like breeders working on developing drought-tolerant varieties as well as hybrids. Several companies and public institutes are working. The one I mentioned, full-page cropping solution. In fact, like they perform good in moisture stress conditions. But I'm not sure. When we say drought, it's a big term. But hybrids does better than varieties in moisture stress conditions.
Thank you, sir.
Rajkumar, you can also ask a question, please.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, Mr. Ajay. You have just rightly explained about growing paddy under drip irrigation. Just I want to put up a further question on that. Actually, I belong to Chhattisgarh, where the Rabi paddy is very common over here, and the water depletion that is going year by year. So it may be a very good solution actually. Somehow, if this concept using drip can be promoted. And as you said, the cost of drip irrigation, which may be ranging from 60 to 70,000 per acre, which can be reduced down actually now, as we have a new technology called low-cost drip irrigation, thin wall drip system. Once you have a permanent system of having main line, sub-main line, and this thin wall drip system can be utilized for one season or two season, depends on how it is being utilized. So cost of drip also will be minimized. And subsequently, yes, as paddy comes under cereal crop, and particularly drip is subsidized for the horticulture crop. If some as a measure of promoting drip for paddy also, some step can be taken. As this is bad for cereal crop. Although sprinkler system is almost obsolete, mostly farmers are using sprinkler pipes. Never they are using the sprinkler for actual irrigation purpose. They are using that just as a mode of conveyance water from one location to another location. So this is just I wanted to share with you. So since you're working on paddy, because this is my practical exposure. In 2010, we did cultivation using micro sprinkler as well as drip irrigation, and yield, or say the result was very encouraging. And there are many companies like Jain Irrigation and all. They are doing this activities, particularly in southern states and northern part of India also. So that is just what I wanted to share with you. You can have further.
Yeah, no, thank you. Very good information. We have done trials actually with there's a new startup, Andrip. We have some trials going on with Revelis, and we are in talks with Jen also. Definitely, there's like a huge saving of water, and if we can make it cost effective, nothing like that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, I'm an ex-Revelis as well as ex-Jain irrigation.
Okay.
Right. So our next question is from Dr. Tushar. His question is, which herbicide are more effective in direct seeded rice?
So currently, there's one herbicide, Visperibak, which is commonly used in direct seeded rice. But the new technology I just talked about, the herbicide family is, Imageth Hyper. And the brand name would be, it still has not come in the market, but like the brand name will be Wazir. This is in fact like the most effective herbicide for direct seeded rice, but this is only for the direct seeded rice, which has the full page gene in this. If the seed has herbicide tolerance. Otherwise, like if farmer want to go for the DSR in any other common varieties which doesn't have herbicide tolerance, I'll recommend Visperibak.
Right, sir. So the next question is from Darshan. It is, in lowland paddy, how can we lower greenhouse gas emission?
That's a good question. So there's a technique called alternate wetting and drying. But like if there's continuous flooding in lowland, we can't do that also. So I'm not sure I have a question, but like this is a good question. I would like to come back to you guys on this one. So if you can drain somehow, you can reduce the greenhouse gas. So
Right. There are 3 heat-resistant varieties for Punjab agriculture universities, which are by Dr. Hari Ram. So it's partial row zone drying, I guess, for the question that you just answered, I guess, for the lower greenhouse gas emission. So yeah. So we have another question. I'll just read it out. So how seed value chain can be advanced by digitization?
yeah, very good question. Now I'll say like with digitization, you can trace the produce right from seed production to final produce. So there are many buyers now, in fact, like large food companies or importers, they are interested in importing the rice which is produced more sustainably. Like, for example, like there are companies, those who want to pay premium for rice where, rice is cultivated using less water, the greenhouse gases emission is low. The concept is called like sustainably produced food. And the consumer, in fact, like the packet of the rice has it written, and the consumer is ready to pay a premium, and so are the food companies, because this is part of their SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. So digitalization can help in tracking, tracing how this crop is produced. So which seed farmer used, what are the agronomic practices, you can also verify through digitalization with the geotagging I talked earlier. And then you on a digital platform, you can keep the database of the farmer, those who are using X variety produced through, say, like, for example, direct seeding. And the producer, they are, in fact, like it is guaranteed, the company, those who are into trading, those who will be buying, that yes, this rice is produced in this manner, and we are buying this specific variety. Like someone wants to buy BPT, or someone wants to buy Basmati. So you can connect the from seed to market using digitalization with complete traceability. So this is one example. In fact, like digitalization can help in improving farmer, in fact, like productivity of the crops, because we can communicate to farmer timely about crop stresses. Their technologies companies are working through sensors. They can send alerts to farmers about like whether now they should irrigate their crop, or now they can stop irrigating. So in fact, like lot of application of digitalization in agriculture.
Right, sir. Got that, sir. So with that, I think we come to an end of our Q&A session. And if there are any more questions, we'll definitely answer them through the mail. And so we thank you so much for this really informative and insightful session. And thank you for sparing your valuable time and sharing your insights on this very important topic. I would also thank you for encouraging and supporting this initiative. We really appreciate the leadership of Savannah Seeds and looking forward to more such initiatives in association with your esteemed organization, sir.
Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a great informative session by